So stand in your power. Be in your power. These are phrases you hear a lot, but what do they really mean? For those of you who don't know me, my name's Kirsten with Water's Edge Tarot. For those of you who've been with me for a while, welcome back. So we're going to talk about those two phrases. I mean, it's really one phrase, but still, it's the same message. Stand in your power, be in your power, embrace your power. These are things we hear on a regular basis from the spiritual community, but if you don't know what that means, then you don't know what that means. So that's why I'm coming on here today to talk to you about. What does standing in your power mean? Well, for starters, the most common definition, if you asked anybody, is they would say it's to be unapologetically you. Okay, well, that's still really vague. So what are we doing? How do we stand in our power? Standing in our power really is about being and doing whatever it is you want to do and just doing it. Now, yes, that sounds simple, and you're like, why are we doing a video about this? Because this is what standing in your power is about. It's about wanting to dance and not caring who's watching you. It's about having a passion about butterflies that's so detailed that people might look at you weird and think you're different, but still wanting to talk about it and talking about it to people. It's about, wanting to do whatever it is you want to do without the worry of how others are going to respond. Now, caveat, this doesn't give you permission to be a dick. You still have to be respectful. But what it does give you, it gives you permission to do what it is that's in your heart that you feel called to do. Whether that be a weird niche no one's heard about, whether that be something that your friends say is dumb. This is what standing in your power means. This is what it means to be unapologetically you. It is something that takes courage. And this is why everyone talks about it. Because if it was one of those things that everyone was doing, there wouldn't be all these videos and self-help books about how to be you. Because doing this takes courage. And this is where the real, conundrum comes from. Because you're like, well, how do I stand in my power? How do I, be me unapologetically when I'm going to get judged or people are going to look at me weird or my friends aren't going to like me? This is what this is about, guys. When you're standing in your power and you're claiming who you are as a person, yeah, people are going to respond. Some of them might respond positively, some of them might respond negatively, some might just have a neutral response. They might be like, meh, okay, you do that, you do you. And this is what scares us, guys, because the fact is, yeah, some people are going to probably respond negatively. And you know what? It hurts. And this is where the courage is. You have to have courage to be able to do the thing that you want to do so much, that you love so much, that if the person who you care for who says that's dumb, you just have to realize that that's a reflection of them and that you're still allowed to enjoy what you want to enjoy. But that doesn't take away the sting. That doesn't take away the ease. You still have to deal with that. You have to decide whether you're going to allow their rejection to become part of your truth, or if you're going to let their rejection of what you're doing, of what you love, to be just what it is. Their rejection of understanding what it is that you're doing. So, here we are. We found a new love of German period 1800, okay? And we just want to talk about it. And it's one of those things where you're like, well, who do I talk about this to? Talk about it, and you'll find people who have similarities of interest in this conversation with you. It might not be your best friend for 10 years. They'll listen to you, but if you just keep badgering and badgering about them, they might get annoyed. So here's something where we have to use discernment. Do we talk to them about whenever we learn something new and then let them express their happiness to learn that something new? And then do we keep having this conversation with other people, hoping that in time we will find, the right person who can hold this conversation with us? Yeah, actually, that's what you do. And you're like, well, how do I know I'm not going to bug all those other people? You don't. You don't know what any of those other people's reactions are going to be about German time 1800s. And guess what? That's part of standing in your power. That's part of you saying, this is something that I'm passionate about and I want to share and talk to with the world. And I'm going to keep talking and keep, letting people know something I'm passionate about until I can find the right person to talk to. Now, that's not saying that when people ask you, please stop, I don't want to hear anymore, you don't respect their boundaries. You still have to respect boundaries, okay? Standing in your power does not give you permission to overstep other people's boundaries. Because if you're standing in your power, you're respecting your own wishes, your own hopes, your own desires, but you're also respecting the boundaries of others. So, if you're talking to someone and they say, I don't want to talk about this anymore, thank them for the time that they've allowed you to talk about it and move on to the next subject. That's fine. And if you're like, this is why people think I'm weird, this is why people think I'm odd, stop. Okay? Standing in your power is saying, I don't care what you think. You're thinking I'm odd, you're thinking I'm weird is on you. That's a them problem. That's not a you problem. You're allowed to love whatever it is you want to love. You're allowed to enjoy whatever it is you enjoy as long as you're not hurting anyone and as long as you're not crossing any boundaries. You're allowed to do these things. If you want to go, collage and none of your friends collage, they all go to the mall, which there's nothing wrong with going to the mall, but if say that that's their thing and you want to be at home collaging and they call you names for it, well, guess what? A, they're not being good friends. And B, you need to do what fulfills your heart. You need to have the courage to say, I want to work on a collage. I'm sorry, I'm not going to go to the mall with you. And if they're truly your friends, they truly care about you, they'll say, okay, we'll see you next time. But if they make you feel bad about that, that's a them problem for not letting you and loving you enough to say, hey, you do what you need to do for yourself. And that's a reflection on them because they're probably hiding something that they want to do. That they're jealous that you're doing your own thing without them. Yeah, it doesn't take away the sting. It doesn't. It still hurts. It still sucks. But you need to do you. You need to stand in your power and say, I just don't want to be a part of that right now. I want to work on this collage. It means a lot to me. I'm sorry you don't understand. And do it. That's what you have to do. Standing in your power sometimes is even harder than that. Sometimes standing in your power means standing up for somebody who has been bullied and treated poorly by a higher up and you calling out that higher up person. Yeah, that's when it gets hard. But here's the truth of the matter. If you don't start standing up for yourself and doing right for yourself, when you want to stand up for the other person, you're not going to do it if you can't do it for yourself. I mean, you might say, this might be a trigger moment, and you might be like, Kirsten, no, I can stand up for other people better than I can stand up for myself. But really, can you? Or do you just empathize better? Do you just, say, I get how you're feeling and comfort them? Or do you truly stand up to the person that needs to be told to be put in their place because they've overstepped other people's boundaries? And then, do you take the consequences of your actions, whatever they may be, and not put them on the other person because you were doing this for them? Yeah, that's a bigger question. So standing in your power also has many different levels. You have the ability to stand in your power to do what you want to do what you love, respectfully in a healthy way. You have the ability to stand in your power and speak for somebody else who's not in their own power, who might feel small, who might be struggling. You have the ability to stand in your own power and create things that are going to be brilliant and help other people despite the criticism that you're going to get from a community. And every one of these actions of standing in our power take courage. But it starts from the beginning. It starts from you saying, I'm going to do what I need to do for me, and I'm going to let others deal with my actions in their own way. Again, assuming that we're being respectful, loving, and maintaining boundaries. So if, you have friends and family who think you're crazy because you want to go camping for a weekend, and why do you want to go spend time in that sweltering heat where you're going to get bitten by bugs and whatnot? You know what? Let them think that. That's a them problem. That's not a you problem. But that's honestly where standing in your power starts. And this is how we start making change, guys. This is how we start making change. You start making change for yourself to better yourself, betters everything else. Yeah, it might be hard at first. Yeah, there might be criticism. And guess what? Normally, that's because the people who are criticizing you want to be able to do the things that you're doing. They want to stand in their own power, but they're not strong enough to do it. And so they're mad that you are strong enough to do it. So keep doing you. Keep standing in your power and let them be mad. And maybe if you do it enough, maybe they'll learn to stand up for themselves too. Maybe you'll be the inspiration that gives them the courage. Because courage isn't something that's easy to obtain. And honestly, all courage is feeling the fear and still going forward. Courage isn't this miracle pill or band-aid that's going to take away the fear. That's not how it works. Courage is just knowing and realizing the fear or the feelings or whatever it is and doing it anyway. So, I know this is a short video, but I really wanted to talk about this because I was doing a psychic expo this weekend, and I had a lot of people who said they didn't know how to stand in their own power. So I made this video for you, for the people who told me, for all the individuals who came to me and said, how do I do that? I hope this helps you. If this did help you, please comment below and just let me know, with a heart or a smiley face. You don't even have to tell me what it's about. Also, if you could just subscribe and hit that like button. It doesn't cost you anything, but it does help the channel. I thank every one of you for watching the video and coming this far with me, and I wish you all a blessed and loved day.